Hi friends, I'm Walker and welcome back to Olive Ave Nails, where we talk about vegan and cruelty-free nail polish. Today I'm so excited to share with you Zoya's new fall 2019 collection. This is the Sensual collection, and I feel like this name has not a lot to do with the polishes in this box, but that's fine. I really enjoy the shades in here, and so I'm really excited to dive into my, live swatch and review. If you're new to my channel, I will do 2 videos reviewing this collection. Today's video is my straight up live swatch and review, and then in a couple days I will also post a color comparison, so I'll show you how all of these gorgeous fall shades fit into Zoya's collection so that you can tell whether or not you have one that might be similar already and whether or not you need to add these ones to your collection. All I know right now about this collection is that it will launch on August 1st for individual shades for retail, and there will be a pre-order deal. If I have the details on that pre-order deal when this video goes live, then I will put them in the description box down below, and if not, I will update the description box as soon as I have those details, and I'll also post them on my community tab so you can follow there. Follow me on Instagram, I'll put them on my stories. I'll make sure you know what the deal is. Alright, let's dive in and swatch the Sensual collection. Alright, first up we have Joss, which I think is a fabulous name. I love Joss. And it is described by Zoya as a soft colonial rose cream, the perfect neutral with a kiss of pink. This one is definitely a little bit dusty. It is much more of a neutral than it is a pink. And the formula on this one is really nice. It is super creamy. I got really good coverage in one coat. It's not, some of their creams recently have been like a little bit on the thicker side. This one I didn't find to be too thick, and I do have a little bit of like patchiness or nail line on my first coat, so you definitely are going to want a second coat on this one, but it is really easy to apply. It's self-leveled really well, and it was super glossy. They have had a couple of these kind of rosy toned neutrals, and so I am excited to do some comparisons with this one, but it is a really nice like blush toned neutral, which I think is really popular right now, and also is just like a really flattering kind of color. So you are looking at 2 coats of Joss. Next up we have another kind of neutral polish. This is Kinsley, and Kinsley is described as a blush toned caramel cream. So this one is a little bit of kind of like a beigey caramel color. I don't know. I don't see a ton of blush in here. I mean, it's a little bit pink toned, but I guess just maybe compared to Joss, which was like super pink toned, I don't see a ton of blush in here. I do see a warm caramel color, which I think is really pretty. This is, I think, the most flattering of the 2 kind of more brown leaning shades in this collection on my skin tone, but the next one I think is also definitely going to be flattering on some other skin tones. So this one has a very similar formula to Joss. I found the first coat super easy to apply. Most of the creams in this collection have this really amazing formula where the first coat is just like super easy to apply, really self-levels really well, and then the second coat kind of just like makes the color more rich and just gets it all the way up to opacity. So you are looking at 2 coats of Kinsley. Alright, now we have another cream. This is Foster. And Foster, I am going to go out on a limb and say that this one probably has the worst formula of the creams in this collection, but that doesn't make it a bad formula. So it's just that this first coat is a much thinner coat than any of the other creams in this collection, and so I got a lot more streakiness and patchiness, but you can see in my swatch photo that it gets up to a really nice, super glossy, super smooth finish. So the first coat was a little bit more sheer than the other creams in this collection, but I didn't have any trouble getting it all the way to opacity. Anyways, Zoya describes Foster as a decadent hot chocolate cream with pink undertones, and I definitely see the pink undertones in here. I think it's kind of hard to see it, maybe just in this photo, but when I do some comparisons, you will definitely see them. This is a super warm toned brown, and so you can tell that this first half of the collection really has this kind of undercurrent of pink warm undertones, which is kind of nice. It really ties it all together. So you were looking at 2 coats of the super glossy Foster. All right, and now we're getting a little bit more further from the neutrals. This one is Briar, which is another fabulous name. The names in this collection I really like. Briar they describe as a red-toned terracotta cream, which I think is really interesting because I tend to think of terracotta as being much more like burnt orangey, but I can see how this one is not really a classic red, so I kind of see the terracotta. I just think it's a little bit of a different definition than what I usually think of for terracotta. The formula on this one is beautiful. I honestly think this one could be a one coater if you're like really careful with your application, or you maybe have shorter nails, because I had just a little bit of nail line on my pinky nail there, but this one is really, really nice. So you're looking at 2 coats of Briar. Okay, and now we have another much more true red cream. This is Margaret. Margaret is described as a well-balanced, vivid auburn red cream, and this one to me just screams like such a classic red. It is not like super blue toned, it's not super pink, it's not washed out. This is a super duper vibrant classic red. This is one that I'm probably the most excited to do comparisons of, because Zoya has a lot of reds, but this formula is just absolutely amazing. I feel like I have a lot of reds that are a little bit like watery from Zoya, you know, they're a little bit thinner, but this one is really nice. So this is Margaret, and it has kind of the same formula as the other creams that we've looked at. I think the second coat does give it a little bit more depth. So you are looking at 2 coats of Margaret. All right, and here we are with the first non-cream polish in this collection. And y'all know that I love creams, so I'm not too unhappy with how many creams are in this collection, especially because I think they're all really nice colors. But Rashida is a really pretty shimmery polish, and they describe it as a dazzling ruby red with a shimmer of red micro pearl. This one I think is a little bit sheer on the first coat, and I did find it a little bit hard to, you know, make sure that I had just enough on my brush. I ended up doing a swatch twice actually, because the first time I had too much, and then I tried to like bring back how much polish I had on my brush, and then I had too little on my brush. So it just is a little bit finicky, but the end result is really stunning. This one to me feels a little bit more like a winter holiday shade than a fall shade. But I'm not going to complain because it's really pretty, and once you own it, you can wear it whenever you want to. I don't get a ton of brush strokes in this. They do seem to kind of level out. I do think you'll want to be a little bit careful with application, just to make sure you get a super smooth finish, but you're looking at 2 coats of Rashida. And here we have the next non-cream formula polish. This one is Etta, and this one has a very similar formula to Rashida, where I just needed to be careful to make sure I didn't have too much polish on my brush, because it would kind of pool towards the middle and the sides if I had too much. But when I was careful, I was able to get some thinner coats and get a really nice finish on this one. Zoya describes this one as a vampy cabernet, how fun, with a hint of velvet micro pearl, adding depth to your nail look. And this one, guys, I have to say, I just absolutely love this polish. I think it is stunning. This color is as beautiful on the nails as in the bottle, and I'm really happy with this one in their collection. This one to me screams fall. Like this one, I want to wear it in November, like on Thanksgiving when I'm eating cranberry sauce and pie. It just looks absolutely gorgeous. So I'm really excited to have this one in my collection. I'm also excited to do a little bit of a comparison between this one and some of the other purple metallics in their collection. So you are looking at 2 coats of Etta. Right, now we're back with another purple cream. This one is Ripley. What did I say about the names in this collection? They're so fun. Ripley's described as a rich boysenberry cream, and I do feel like we have seen a purple in this range from Zoya in pretty much every collection this year. We had Rie in the summer collection, we had Yvette in the Innocence collection, and now we have Ripley in the fall collection. I'm not going to complain because these are some of my favorite purples to wear. I really like these like super warm kind of winey purples along with my super dark purples. I like those too. But Ripley, I'm excited to compare to those other 2 that I mentioned, just because it does look like it fits very closely in with that family of purples. So it must be on trend this year. I don't know. I'm not very good at keeping up with this stuff, but this must be a very popular color. So Ripley you are looking at in 2 coats, and it has the kind of classic really nice cream formula that most of the polishes in this collection have had. All right, and now we have another purple cream, but this one is much different. This is Michaela, and it is described as a dusty purple taupe cream. which is so interesting. I would not have described this as taupe, but it is definitely very dusty, much more kind of muted out, and it's still really, really deep and really rich. Like, just look at that color in the swatch photo. It is so rich and so glossy. I really like it. This one has kind of a medium formula. It's a little bit thinner on that first coat than some of the others, but it doesn't really bother me because in the second coat, it gets totally up to opacity. It's not, you know, challenging to work with. It's just a little bit thinner than some of the others. So you are looking at 2 coats of this super dusty, gorgeous purple. Next up, we have Vesper, and Vesper is, again, super fun name, but also a gorgeous polish. They describe this one as a deep antique gray violet cream, and this one reminds me a bit of Airy, which was in the Innocence collection in the spring, and it's really kind of adding to their list of blurple-y colors, because I do see a lot of gray in here, just like the description says, but I also see a lot of blue in here, and so I think this one is a little bit blurply. It's definitely gray. There is some gray in here, but I see a little bit more kind of like dusty blurple. This one is really, really pretty. The formula is really nice. It's very similar to most of the other creams that we've looked at. And so you're looking at 2 coats of Vesper. All right, and here is the last cream in this collection. This one is Elliot, and I'm gonna tell you right now, I love this one. It's so gorgeous. This one is described as a blackened peacock blue cream, and that feels just about right to me. This one is definitely different from other deep blues that I have in my collection, right? This one is not close to black. You still see a lot of that blue. Even like when I took it out of my swatching lights, I still saw the blue, but it is really deep and really, really rich. So this one I'm going to compare to like Sailor, because it is another blue that I can still see blue in, but Sailor has a little bit of like a purpley undertone, and this one is just blue. I mean, peacock blue is a great description of this. There's no purple, there's no green, it's just blue. The formula on this one, as you can see, is a really nice, super glossy 2 coats, so you're looking at Elliot. This is the last polish in this collection. This is Ashton, and I love all the names in this collection. There's so many like masculine, feminine names, which as someone named Walker, I really enjoy. And Ashton is described as a black tourmaline with a scattered silver effect. This one is not a scattered holographic. That's what it kind of looked like in some of the promo pictures for me, but it is really, really pretty. I did have to look up what tourmaline is, and it's one of the world's most popular gemstones. So many of you probably knew that, but I didn't, so that's okay. It is really shiny on the nail. You do get, I want to say, a little bit of holographic effect. I haven't really gotten this one in the sunlight yet, but I did catch a little bit of rainbows when I was trying to like wiggle my fingers around. But regardless of whether it's hollow or whether it's just a really nice sparkly silver, this polish is so elegant. I don't know how to describe it. So you're looking at 2 coats of Ashton. All right, so I want to share my final thoughts on this collection and then also kind of which ones were my favorites. I'm going to read you the description of this collection from Zoya from my phone. They say that the Sensual collection features a range of contemporary neutrals to desirable darks. Sensual beautifully implements traditional autumn shades with a variety of finishes. I would say that is true, and when I first saw this kind of promotional packaging that they sent, I thought the shades in here were going to be much more similar to one another than they are. Ooh, sorry. Had to pause for a second. I thought I was going to sneeze. Anyways, when I pulled these polishes out and I swatched them on swatch sticks, which is always the first thing that I do so that I can start to kind of immediately fit them into my collection, I realized that they actually are much more distinct than I thought. This kind of array here makes them look a little bit more similar than they are. Generally though, I was pretty happy with this collection. I do feel like all of these shades scream fall to me, which is really, really nice. And there is a lot more variety in here than there was in last year's fall collection. So I'm really happy with this. I think the like deep purples, the deep blues are really, really pretty. My favorites are probably not going to be a surprise to any of you. So my 2 favorites from this collection, and the 2 that feel the most stand out to me, are definitely Elliot, this really, really pretty kind of peacocky blue. It is a really gorgeous deep blue while still being blue. So this is not an almost black polish. This is a deep blue polish. And then the other one that I love is Etta. They describe this one as a vampy Cabernet. so fun. And I really like the finish on this one. I feel like some of their metallic purples will look really pretty in the bottle and then kind of just get a little bit lost on the nail. I'm looking at you, Gem. But this one is absolutely stunning. I feel like it's gorgeous in the bottle, it's gorgeous on the nail. I really enjoyed this one. So these two are probably my favorite. I think if I could change one thing about this collection, I would maybe kind of swap out one of the creams for one other color. I feel like, you know, there's a purple in here that's very similar to some other purples they've released this year. There's a red in here that's very similar to some other reds they've released this year. I feel like they probably could have lost one of those and put in something with a different finish. I'm always on the lookout for more scattered hollows. We don't have any of those in this collection, but that's okay, we'll survive. Awesome, thanks so much for joining me today. Definitely let me know your thoughts on this collection down below. Are you gonna grab the whole thing? Are you just gonna pick and choose? I would love to hear what you're excited about and what you're not excited about. As always, my color comparison will be up in the next couple of days, so if you are not already subscribed, definitely hit subscribe so you don't miss that video, and maybe you'll enjoy sticking around. We sit down and hang out and chat about nail polish a couple times a week on my channel, and I hope that you'll consider joining us for the next one. Bye. Okay, this is Artie. You probably haven't met him yet, but he is hanging out in here. We call him our party boy because he likes to play and wrestle. So I'm gonna try and keep him away from the camera. Yikes.